It's spooky season, you guys. It's spooky season. September through November, honestly, spooky season. Personally, in my life and how I consume movies, it's spooky season year round, but there's just an extra special thing about watching a horror movie during the fall. Technically, it is still summer, but it's September. It's spooky season. Today, we are watching one of my all-time favorite movies. It's a cliche thing to say at this point. I feel like Scream kind of is the moment. Like, ever since the new Scream films have dropped, people have gone back and revisited the old ones, and everyone has come to realize in like the last 3 years or so, I would say like the younger generation especially has realized how incredible the original 1996 Scream film is. I've been knowing. It is one of my all-time favorite comfort films, which, funny story with me and Scream, I actually watched it for the first time when I was 4 years old. My dad was like, it's fine. And then I had nightmares for a year. And I've been terrified of being murdered ever since. But does that stop me from this movie being one of my favorites of all time? Nope. There's got to be some sort of psychology behind that. There was a point in my life where I was putting this movie on to help me sleep at night. I wish I was alive at the time that it came out and I could have enjoyed it in the theaters and had the shock of Drew Barrymore dying, because it was like promoted as her being the star of the movie and then she dies in the first scene. That's just like, no movie does stuff like this anymore. Like, no movie does it like Scream, in my opinion. You know what? I'm gonna say it. I feel like, you know what? People are getting to the point now where it's so popular that people are like, well, it's overrated. But it's popular because it's good. This video marks the first video of a new series that I'm doing on my channel where we revisit some of my personal favorite movies. I'm gonna try to work my way through all of my favorite movies, which is a big task because I have a Letterboxd. If you are on Letterboxd and you want to follow me, that link is below. On Letterboxd, I have a list created that I call, I think, something like the greatest films of all time. And I have 300 something films in it, I think. And all of those movies are in the greatest film of all time list for me, not because I objectively think they're the greatest of all time. I don't think the greatest film of all time exists. It depends on the eye of the beholder. Honestly, a lot of those movies run on nostalgia for me, but I just thought it would be fun to call them that because why not? In my world, these movies are the greatest films of all time, right down to Barbie Swan Lake, you know what I mean? But the first movie that we're going to revisit, voted on over on my Patreon, is Scream 1996. Before we get into the movie, I don't know if I've stressed enough how much I like this movie. But my little sister made me a little bookmark once that has our favorite quote from this movie on it. Oh yeah, there it is. Stu says this toward the end of the movie when him and Billy are ganging up on Sydney, and the way he delivers the "yeah man yeah" just gets me and my sister every time. We quote it to each other too often. So with all of that being said, I'm so excited to watch this movie with you guys. If you would like to watch the full movie with me, my uncut reaction is available below on Patreon. It is a great way to support the channel and get some bonus content. We have a lot of fun over there. But if you would rather watch the edited version here on YouTube, that's totally fine. Let's get into it.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, I should have worn that
Yes?
lipstick.
Who is this?
Well, I think you have the wrong number.
Do I?
It happens. Take it easy.
So scary already. Like, in the context of it being a horror movie, starting it off so quickly like this is so refreshing because so many horror movies start off pretty slow, or they did, like the older ones.
Bye now.
Wait, don't hang up.
What?
Ew, with a little coaxing
Talk to you
voice.
for a second.
I just want to talk
They've
to
got
you.
900 numbers for that.
Ew, and the doors. Oh my god. This, by the way, when I was a kid watching this movie, I didn't last past this opening scene. I don't really remember. I was literally 4, so I only have a memory of hiding behind a chair and seeing, I think, Casey's character looking out the front door or something at the night and waiting for something to pop up, and I was so scared.
Who is this?
You tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
The flirting.
I don't think so.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your
Iconic.
favorite scary movie?
What's your favorite scary
don't know.
movie?
You have to have a favorite.
Mine is Scream. Like,
What?
those doors are so scary. They're just doors, but they're so scary.
Look, I gotta go. I don't think so.
Don't hang up on me.
Girl, now at this point, I wouldn't answer again. I just wouldn't answer. But I'm pretty sure she answers. Which is, why would you do that?
Listen, asshole!
No, you listen, you little bitch. You hang up on me again, I'll cut you like a fish, understand?
This is the part I remember
Out in the middle
as a
of
child.
nowhere.
This whole part here.
To see what your insides look like.
Imagine being a 4-year-old hearing that.
Who's there? I'm calling the
Who's there?
You should never say
Ew,
who's
and the
there.
door
Don't
in the
you watch scary
background.
movies? It's a death wish.
I love the meta horror in this movie. It's so smart. A lot of the time, meta horror just comes off cheesy.
His name wouldn't be Steve, would it?
Poor Steve. It's so scary. Because this is another turning point in the interaction where it's like, this isn't just a random occurrence. This is someone who planned this night, which makes it so much scarier. And it's like, you feel like less likely to survive it.
What kind of a game?
This is my favorite part of every Scream movie. I love when they play the game.
What kind of game?
Little horror trivia.
Just do it.
Sorry, Steve. What do you expect us to do? I wouldn't go out there. Sorry.
Name the killer in Halloween.
Michael
It's
Myers.
your favorite scary movie.
I've only seen the first Halloween movie. I've not seen all the other ones. And I remember when I was a kid, my cousins told me for some reason, when I was by my dad's house, they told me, you know who lives across the street? Michael Myers. And I think they were trying to scare me. And I was kind of scared because I could tell by the way they were talking about it. I could tell that it was supposed to be a bad thing, like a bad person. But at the time, I didn't know who Michael Myers was. I was like 6. And they were like, Michael Myers lives across the street. Isn't that scary? And I'd be like, scared. But I didn't really know what I was scared of. Now I know who Michael Myers is. And I can, in fact, say he did not live across the street from my father in like 2002.
Name the killer in Friday the 13th.
Jason!
Mrs. Voorhees.
Jason!
I would say Jason probably too. That's the wrong answer. I love the way he says that.
No, it's not!
What door am I?
That's so scary. That's so scary. That's another thing that there's only 2 doors.
Patio doors.
Oh my god, there's 2 doors in my house. I was about to say it's more scary if you have a bigger house because there's like so many different ways someone could get in, but she has as many doors as me. No. What do you do? Like, what do you do? The glass in this house, very, very flimsy. Whenever I see this scene, I always think of the Scary Movie scene where the girl's just like getting naked and like dancing in the sprinklers. The Scary movies are fun too. And then the perfect end to this opening scene, a scream. She has a great scream too.
So much in television. The Exorcist was on.
The Exorcist.
Got me thinking of you.
It got me thinking of you. That's when we break up.
2 years ago, we started off hot and heavy. Nice solid R rating on our way to an instant.
The way she's like actually hearing this out right now is wild.
Now, lately we're just sort of edited for television.
Mm-hmm. When they start making out, comes through her window, tells her, hey, I was watching The Exorcist. It got me thinking of you. Back when we used to like actually fool around and now you're lame. That's what he just did. That's how he just put it all together for her. And then it leads to this.
You know, I appreciate the romantic gesture.
The romantic gesture.
No, I'm not trying to rush you at all. I was only half serious.
I'm not trying to rush you. I was only half serious. But like, we're gonna do it soon, right?
Thank you. Hi, Sydney.
So when I first watched this movie, well, not counting when I was 4, I rewatched the movie when I became a teenager. I thought the killer was either Dewey or the principal. This iconic scene. This is one of my favorite scenes in all of movie history.
Yeah, Casey and Steve were completely hollowed out. And the fact is, it takes a man to do
It's a
something.
man.
Or a man's mentality. How do you gut someone?
Tell us, Stu.
They slid him from groin to sternum.
Hey, it's called tact, you fuck rag.
This movie is so fun to watch after you know the ending.
Hey, what are you saying? That I killed her?
It would certainly improve your high school Q.
But the video store thought they fired your sorry ass.
Twice.
Better live her alone.
Live her alone.
Live her alone.
I love Matthew Lillard. I see him, he still does like Scream Comic-Con events like to this day. And he seems like the nicest guy. No, and the house is in the middle of nowhere, just surrounded by trees. It's so big. Wonder how many doors her house has. I love this. The way they try to get you. They don't do it too much. Sometimes when movies try to pull off too much suspense, it can get annoying for the audience, but I think Scream found a great balance.
Only a year ago, Maureen Prescott, wife and mother, was found raped and murdered not far from this peaceful town square.
Mm-hmm. This whole backdrop of her mom and then the motive all coming out in the end is just so good. Like, horror movies just aren't like this. Like this is nothing is like this. Scream is just so good. And I think I read somewhere at one point that Kevin Williamson, he wrote this screenplay in like one night. How do you do that? It just came to, I think he was like watching something and he loosely based it off of a real life murder case, but very, very loosely. It was just kind of like an inspired by type of thing. But then he wrote this whole script in a night. You're joking. Nighttime. And then we think it's the killer.
Hello?
Just Tatum. So we're like, okay, cool. Tatum's on her way. She just called to check in. We're fine, right? Just kidding. Here comes the killer.
Tatum, just get in the car.
Hello, Sydney.
Hello, Sydney.
Who is this?
You tell me.
Tell me right now. Tell me right now what you would do. You get a call for some reason. You're a psychopath and you answer. You know, it was different back in the day. But if I get a call, and I think a lot of people are like this, if we get a call on our phones nowadays and we don't know the number, you know what? Leave me a voicemail if it's important. Otherwise, I'm not answering. But let's say you answer it, you right? And they go, hello, insert your name. And then you're like, hi, who is this? And they go, you tell me. What do you do? Is it just an instant hang up, right? But what's scarier, let's set the setting even more. It's nighttime and you're home alone. What do you do? Is it crazy to call 911 right away? I might call like a family member or a friend and be like, this was so weird. What do you think I should do? But by then I'd probably have someone throwing a chair through my window and I'd be dead.
I like that thing you're doing with your voice, Randy. It's sexy.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, come on, you know I don't watch that shit.
I love this scene too for the juxtaposition between her and Drew's character.
Some big-breasted girl who can't act who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting. So, who are you?
The question isn't who am I?
The question is, where am I?
So where are you?
Your front porch.
All right, we're all calling 911 by that point, right? Everyone's calling 911, right? No, Sydney. She's crazy. Sydney is a badass, but she's also insane a little because how does she have the guts to do this? How does she have the guts to stay on the phone, call his bluff, and walk out onto her front porch? Where did you get the guts, Sydney? And she's so far... No, so many things I wouldn't do. She's so far away from the door. She walked so far away from her front door without looking back at it. Someone could have slipped in there.
If you hang up on me, you'll die just like your mother. Do you want to die, Sydney?
Your mother sure didn't. Yeah. Girl, he's in the house. Ghostface is so flimsy. Like, he's so bendy. I don't know how to describe it. He's so, like, floofy. Do you get what I'm saying? He just flies around. His limbs are always all over the place. No, don't be cinematic, sir. Yep. And Ghostface is always obsessed with the movies, right? So that's what always causes them to lose. And I love this. This is always fun that she runs up the stairs after she said on the phone call, like, they always run up the stairs. It's insulting. But now look who's the one running up the stairs, girls. Sometimes circumstances call. Sometimes there's nothing else to do. That's scarier. It's like a spider. Oh God. God, how fast that happened. It's like a spider though, you know? I'm not scared of spiders when I can see them, but when I see them and then they disappear, that's what creeps me out. Mm-hmm. What you doing with a cellular telephone, sir? The scream is everything.
I caught him, Sheriff. Wait, who is that? Billy Loomis.
Dewey is so cute. I caught him. Yes, Doofus.
Sydney, is that you in there?
Wild. How did she even...
What happened to her?
Actually, now that I think about it, how did she know what happened? How did she get here so quick?
You sure it was the Hilton?
At the airport.
He's not registered there.
Oh, right. I actually think I had a moment too where there's so many good suspects that get lined up for this movie. So many, because I thought that her dad might be in on it too at one point.
So, how's the book?
Well, it'll be out later this year.
Oh, I'll look for it.
I'll send you a copy.
Oh! God, I loved it.
I'll send you a copy. Bam! Sid, super bitch.
Do you really think Billy did it? He was destined to have a flaw. I knew he was too.
A flaw.
Hello, Sydney.
So smart.
No!
He's so smart.
Billy boyfriend.
Leave me alone!
Looks like you fingered the wrong guy. I love the, like, what is the word for it? Is it syntax? Like how he enunciates. It's so good.
His cellular bill was clean. He didn't make those calls. We're checking every cellular account in the county. It's gonna take some time, but we'll find him.
How do you even handle that? You think your boyfriend tried to kill you, and then you find out they didn't, right? She thinks he didn't. And then what are you supposed to do? Be like, oh, so sorry, I accused you of murder. That was crazy. But
So how does it
anyways,
feel to be almost brutally butchered?
how did you feel almost being brutally butchered? How does it feel?
Your mother's murder was last year's hottest court case. Somebody was gonna write a book about it.
Right, and it had to be you with all your lies and bullshit theories.
What is your problem?
Honestly, I can't blame Gail, maybe. Well, I don't know. It is a bit insensitive, but she genuinely thinks that Cotton was innocent. So she thinks she's doing something right and shedding light on his side of the story.
You saw someone leave wearing that coat.
Mm-hmm.
The same someone who planted it in Cotton's car, framing him.
Mm-hmm. But of course she's going to be like, no, it was Cotton, because it's scarier to accept the other option, because that means they're still out there, you know? Crazy. Crazy.
Are you kidding me? Look at this place. It's like Christmas.
Stupidity leak.
It's like Christmas, he said.
I have a girlfriend who would rather accuse me of being a psychopathic killer than touch me.
Ugh.
You know that's not true. Billy, I was attacked and nearly filleted last night.
I mean, between us, you haven't been the
She's
same
not thinking
since-
about you guys right now. Since what? Since what, Billy?
Since your mother died.
The way he paused because he wasn't sure, and then he still said it.
When my mom left my dad, I accepted it.
Oh
It's
my
the
God,
way it is.
it's crazy.
She's not
Everything
coming
he's
back.
saying is crazy.
Your parents split up.
It's a bad analogy,
Yeah.
but it's just that
It's just that I really want to have sex.
I am sorry if my traumatized life is an inconvenience.
Oh, people always
to you
make
and
fun of the way
perfect
she runs away
existence.
here.
what? Nobody said that. Sid!
It's not even that bad. This is the scene that made me suspect the principal, but now, honestly, this scene, I'm like, all right, let's get through it.
You're both expelled. Get out. Rip your insides out. Hang you from a tree so we can expose you for the heartless, desensitized little shits that you are.
So you can see why I thought he might be the killer.
She was never attacked. I think she made it all up. How did she lie about it? For attention. The girl has some serious issues.
The girl on girl hate. You see, I like this because I really love like the Tatum and Sydney friendship, and their friendship is so real and like not competitive. I like that they show like her and Tatum's strong friendship, but then they also show like the misogyny in women in this scene.
Maybe she's a slut, just like her mother.
Yikes.
You're evil. She wants to kill herself, but she realizes that teen suicide is
Out this year, and homicide is a much healthier, therapeutic expression. I love that line, but it's so mean. Just imagine that guy just sitting up on that toilet all day waiting for Sydney to come in. He probably followed her in.
You look awfully young to be a police officer.
I'm 25 years old.
That's crazy. That's crazy that he is 25. I'm 26. You're telling me he's a year younger than me in this movie? I think I got stuck at the age that COVID hit. I think I got stuck at 22.
Due to the recent events that have occurred, effective immediately, all classes are suspended until further notice.
Impromptu party night. My house. Celebrate. the
Everyone's
birthday.
dying. Let's throw a rager. Just playing some ding dong ditch.
Damn little shits.
What'd you call me?
Mr. Wes Craven, dressed as Freddy Krueger, iconic. A fake out always gets followed by a real scare. He was waiting with his arms up. He went, "It's me." And then the transition here is so iconic. The principal's dead, but guess what? That shot was a little goofy. This is my other favorite scene. I love the fountain scene. And I love this scene. I think the fountain scene and the movie store scene are my favorites.
If you were the only suspect in a senseless bloodbath, would you be standing in the horror section?
What's his reason?
Maybe Sydney wouldn't have sex with him.
What, she's saving herself for you?
Maybe. Now that Billy tried to mutilate her, do you think Sid would go out with me?
No.
You know, I think it's her father.
The crazy
Why
eyes.
can't
He
they
pulls out
find
the
their
crazy
pops,
eyes.
man?
There's a formula to it.
A very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect.
How do we know you're not the killer?
Oh, this scene is so good.
Huh? Hi, Billy.
These two ganging up on him to gaslighting Randy.
You're absolutely right. I'm the first to admit it. If this were a scary movie, I'd be the prime suspect. That's right.
Actually, I think I did suspect Randy too at one point.
It's the millennium. Motives are incidental.
Millennium. Good kid.
You're telling me that's not a killer.
Just think, if they make a movie about you, who's gonna play you? I shudder to
Tori
think.
Spelling, right?
My
Is she
life
played by
is
Tori Spelling? Oh my god. I think in the Stab films, it's literally Tori Spelling that plays her. I didn't realize she's made that reference in this movie.
Well, there's no way a cellular could have been cloned.
Guess what tomorrow is?
The anniversary.
The anniversary of his wife's death.
Happy anniversary.
We'll keep the roadblocks and the curfew in effect for the night.
I just also love the juxtaposition of this scene because we have, what is his name? The chief here, and he's got a cigarette, and then we've got Dewey and his ice cream cone, and every time they take a break from conversation, he's smoking a cigarette and Dewey's licking the ice cream cone, and it's just like the perfect, like, clash of people. It's party time! Welcome to the third act.
You were not gonna believe who's here. It's that chick from Top Story.
Gail Leonard.
Here.
Here. She's here.
Should I be worried?
Not yet.
So smart. And it's not just that she's putting that there, it's the fact that it's like a major part of the plot. And when it comes back around later, it's so scary. Tatum's death scene is like the most iconic death scene of the first film, I think. Although you could argue Casey. You could argue Casey.
Hey, shitheads!
You know, the good thing is you're in a garage, so this is where you try to find a weapon. That's what I'd be doing. Or just open up the garage right away. Although in the 90s, did it not have, you know how garages nowadays, if you put your hand under when it's trying to close, there's a sensor and it'll just, I love that shot. I love that shot. And there's a sensor and it just opens back up. I'm guessing that wasn't a thing back then. Her dialogue here is so iconic.
Sees it, she'll flip. Oh, you want to play
You
psycho
want to play
killer?
psycho killer? Can I be the helpless victim?
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface.
I want to be a sequel.
Randy, what the hell are you doing?
Everyone always thinks it's Randy. It's not Randy. But she puts up a fight. Look at that. Also, Ghostface is so easy to get down. He falls from a gust of wind. I saw something on TikTok that like she was so little when they filmed this that when she had to get inside of this dog door, is that what it is? She kept on slipping out of it, so they had to like tie her down to it to keep her up there. Do you think this is what would really happen? You think this would cause death? Maybe if it hits you just right, because they show that shot where it like hits her neck just right. I love Ghostface's reaction here. The way he stares and then just slinks back. Where have you been? I love Stu's reaction here.
Hey, Billy. What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Talk to
What have you been up to?
Why don't you guys go up to my parents' room? You know, you guys can talk.
Whatever. Randy knows what's up.
What's Leatherface doing here?
Leatherface.
Come on.
Okay, here we go. The video footage. I love how this is worked into the movie. It's so good.
I got a delay.
How long is it?
I don't know. What'd it take you to walk from the house? 30 seconds?
30-second delay. That's so scary.
The one who's been selfish.
No, you haven't.
Self-absorbed.
Crazy little girl.
Post-traumatic stress.
You can't pick your genre.
What genre of movie would your life be? Like right now. Obviously, it would always change. Right now, mine would be... I actually think my life's too boring to even get a genre, to be completely honest with you.
Why can't I be a Meg Ryan movie?
Or even a good porno.
Or even a good porno.
He's completely brainwashed her to think that she is the problem. And I think she also... There's a piece of her that wants to also, because I think she thinks, you know, maybe if I just try to forget everything and try to take the reins of my own life and do these things that we're told we're supposed to be doing when we're happy or whatever. She's like, maybe if I just act normal and act happy, then everything will be okay. Oh, another iconic scene. We're about to get the rules.
It's too red. Don't you know the rules? What rules? You don't... Jesus Christ, you don't know the rules?
You don't know the rules?
Have an aneurysm, why don't you? Number one.
You can never have sex. big no-no.
You can never drink or do drugs.
It's the sin factor.
The sin factor. Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, say,
I'll be right back.
Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure. I'll be right back. Right after Randy said the rules where you can't have sex, guess what's happening?
Look, here comes the obligatory
Oh, I
tit
love
shot.
this. I love that they're watching a horror movie and then their life is a horror movie and we're cutting back and forth between the scenes. It's just so good. You're kidding.
They found Principal Henry dead. He was gutted and hung from
This
the
reaction
goalpost
is
on the
insane.
football field. Let's go over there before they pry him
Let's
down.
go play football.
Hey.
Thank you, Randy. Randy has tact. I can't imagine anyone would really, well, they are really drunk. I can't imagine anyone would really want to go and see their dead principal hanging from a goalpost. Like, what?
People treat me like I'm the Antichrist of television journalism.
This is where the real romance begins for
I don't
them.
think you're that bad.
Opening up a little bit, almost getting hit by a car. Name something more romantic. Oh, and the classic, am I on top of you? I'm so sorry. And she came up for the kiss. Get it, Gail.
Is that what you're looking for?
Yep.
My whole life.
My whole life, he said.
This is Neil Prescott's car.
Sydney's father?
Yeah. Jesus, what's he doing here?
And then when I first watched it, I went back to thinking, oh my God, maybe it is her dad. So then at this point, this conversation we're about to have is when I'm like, oh, maybe I was wrong and not suspecting Billy. Maybe it really is Billy when she brings up the whole one call thing in jail.
When you're arrested, you're allowed one phone call, so I was just curious. Who'd you call?
Called my dad.
No, Sheriff Burke called your dad. I saw him.
But when I called, I didn't get an answer.
And then he gets all scary again. And this is where I'm like, oh my God, maybe it was
What
him.
do I have to do to prove to you that I'm not a killer?
We're about to find out. I love the way that it's acted too. The way that Billy's acting. He's very dramatic. It's this part too where he turns and goes, he reaches a hand out. He's like he's on a Shakespeare play. And it's like not too dramatic where when you're first watching it, you're like, oh my God, so fake. But then when you look back on it, you're like, boy, you are putting on a show. Ew, I hate the layout of this house. It's so mazy and everything connects. Oh, I hate that. I hate that. I would just literally, nope, yep, exactly. I would just jump. And thank God the boat's there. Do a little tuck and roll.
There he is.
This is perfect.
I told you he's right around the corner.
He's right around the corner.
Jamie, look behind
Look behind you, Randy.
Look behind
Randy, behind
Turn
you.
around.
Turn around, Randy.
Behind you.
So scary, so scary, so scary. The door's already open.
30-second delay.
And now he's gone. Where did he go? There he is. Penny, you put up with all of Gail's shit for this. Poor guy. Oh, having to crawl through all that stuff in the back. Good thing Ghostface is an idiot and he didn't meet her around the back. It's perfect. The horror movie playing at the climax of its plot while the climax of our plot is happening.
Oh God, Kitty, I'm sorry, but get out my fucking windshield!
I love the sound of her voice when she said that. Oh my God, this is frustrating. So Sydney just caused Gail to crash into a tree. And she's like, oh man, just runs the other way. Wouldn't you go down to help her? Oh, I love this too.
Sydney?
So Dewey comes out. We find out. We're thinking it's Dewey. It's not Dewey. He's stabbed in the back. So this part, I love this. This scene is so scary too. Her getting in the car, locks the door. Oh, these are scary too, where you have like those manual locks back in the day, and you have to crank up the window. That's so much scarier. The key's gone. Where's the key? He's got the keys. So me and my cousins used to play this game all the time. Me and my cousins would be in the car and we would have one of our cousins be the killer on the outside and they would have the keys and they would unlock the car and we'd all have to try to like unlock or keep the car locked and they'd like go under the car and they'd open up the back like that and they'd do all these things to try to get in at us and it's like a game of tag. They wouldn't kill us in the end, you know, we didn't go too far into it. Ooh, I hate that. The blurred back. I've seen this movie 100 times. I did not need to react like that. Stu, the gaslighter, throws Randy to the ground. And Sydney does what we would all do, right? She does what we all want her to do. Fuck you both. That's what you gotta do, girl. smart. And cue Billy.
No, give me the gun.
Give me the gun. Okay. I wouldn't hand it over. I wouldn't hand it over. Even if I trusted him 100%, I would be so scared and traumatized by everything that night that I would need to have a weapon of my own.
He's gone mad.
We all go a little mad sometimes. No, Billy. He's a Norman Bates fan. And then we go, oh my God, as an audience, we go, oh my God. We thought it was Billy at first, and then they convinced us it wasn't, and then we thought it was him again, and then they convinced us it wasn't, and then it's him. Surprise, Sydney. It's 2! This is just like shocking information to me when I watched it when I was older and got to experience it for real the first time.
Fuck you!
We already played that game.
Played that game, remember?
Huh.
We ask you a question, and if you get it wrong,
Wappa!
die.
We'll never get away with this.
This shot is amazing too.
Tell that to Cotton Weary. I mean, did Norman Bates have a motive?
No.
Did they ever really decide why Hannibal Lecter liked to eat people?
Don't think so.
See, it's a lot scarier when there's no motive, Sid.
It is. He's right about that. People just willy-nilly killing people for no reason. You could be attacked at any second if there's no motive.
Your slut mother was fucking my father, and she's the reason my mom moved out and abandoned me. How's that for a motive?
The way Stu doesn't even know. Stu was just going along with this. He was like, all right, it'll be fun. As Randy said, he's a literal lapdog.
You gave it up. Now you're no longer a virgin. You're gonna love this. We got a surprise for you, Sydney. Yeah, you're gonna love this one.
It's a scream, baby.
I'll be right back.
He's having too much fun. Stu is so messed up. Like, Billy's messed up, obviously. They both are. But Billy has motive, and he's been triggered. But Stu, what are you doing? Oh my God, these psychos. Gotta stab each other. I mean, it makes sense.
I'm ready, baby.
Given their logic, it makes sense. They gotta look like they've been roughed up.
Go on, man. Jesus.
Get him, Stu. They're such idiots.
We're gonna carry on and plan the sequel, because let's face it, baby, these days...
You gotta have a sequel. The spit just flying.
Don't you blame the movies.
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative. It's a good one. I kind of agree with what he says.
The gun, man, the gun. I put her right there. It's not there.
Right here, asshole.
Get it, Gail. Honestly, this is an iconic moment, but then it's also really embarrassing what it leads to. Yeah, safety, girly. Gotta hit that safety. It's frustrating because it's like, she had her girl boss moment, and then it just...
man. Yeah.
But what do you expect? She never handled a gun before. She's not gonna know about safety. The chaos. Shit. They're so dumb. They just don't know how to handle what they've gotten themselves into, and it's so funny. Because they're just stupid kids.
Fuck.
Sydney is so real for this.
Are you alone in the house?
Bitch! Find me, you dipshit! Get up! I can't, Billy. Oh, you cut me, dude.
Literally dying.
I think I'm dying.
He literally is dying.
Hello?
Oh, Stu. What's your motive? What are you gonna tell them?
Peer pressure. I'm far too sensitive. Ah, you hit me with a phone, dick!
Did you really call the police?
You bet your sorry ass I did.
Mom and Dad are gonna be so mad at me. Like, the way his brain works is so crazy. You were thinking about your parents being mad at you, boy, you're gonna go to jail for life. And her wearing the mask and everything, the outfit, such a slay. This is a fun little moment. I always had a thing for you, Sid.
In your dreams.
Such a fun little death. In your dreams. In your dreams is so 90s. I love it. I hear that there's a theory that he's actually alive. I'm not part of that theory. I would love that just because I love Matthew Lillard and it'd be so fun to see him return to a Scream movie, but you can't tell me he didn't die. He was already dying from the stab from Billy. There we go. I'm so happy they gave Gail her redemption. I love that Gail doesn't look like happy or relieved or anything. She's still a little shaken that she just killed someone, even though it's a murderer. It's like a crazy thing to kill someone. All right, tell us, Randy, what do we have to watch out for?
This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life for one last scare.
I also love that the Scream movies always do one little scare for the audience at the end. So good. Thank you, Wes Craven. Thank you, Kevin Williamson. Thank you to the cast. My life wouldn't be the same. It just wouldn't. So that is Scream. I need to know what your first impression was. I need to know what your line of thinking was. Like, who did you suspect? Did it change throughout? I can't imagine there was anyone who got it completely right, you know, that got it, especially when it first came out, because Two Killers, that wasn't quite the thing that it is these days. I feel like I associate the two killer twist to Scream, and I'm sure it has happened in previous movies, but Scream is what made it mainstream in my eyes. So I can't imagine that people like guessed that it was the two of them, especially with the way that they fake you out with Billy a couple times and toy with you with Billy, and then they just make Stu look like such an idiot that you're like, there's no way it's him. And he's just saying such out-of-pocket things and such tactless things that you're like, he wouldn't say these things if he was the killer, but he literally is. He's just an idiot. This is the perfect sleepover movie. It's so much fun. Like I said, let me know your thoughts when you first watched it. Did you get to see it in theaters? If you got to see it in theaters or like when it first came out, tell me your reaction to Drew dying. I just want to hear all of your firsthand stories about seeing this movie for the first time. It's my favorite movie to like watch with someone. Like I get excited when someone hasn't seen Scream because I'm like, oh, time for me to swoop in. You're not allowed to watch it without me. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna watch. Well, you're gonna watch it and I'm gonna stare at your face the entire time. I hope you guys had fun with this video. Again, follow me on Letterboxd so you can see the other movies in my personal list of greatest movies of all time, which is not a serious list. It's just a fun little my personal favorites list. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.